Pioneers of Pagonia. Pioneers of Pagonia. Pioneers of Pagonia. These names in these games, I've talked a lot about this on my stream and in other videos. I respect the developer for picking the name and the lore. The question becomes, if you struggle saying the name, are you more likely to remember the name of the game? Or are you more likely to describe the game as that one game that you can't pronounce the name of the game? Regardless, this is actually a fantastic city builder, and one that you should add to your wish list now, if not purchase outright. It's in early access. There's a link in the description. I've had the pleasure of playing this game over the last week or so. So let's jump in and start a new game. You can see right from the start, there's a myriad of options to choose from. And you've got a guidance map, which is a very good tutorial, and I highly recommend playing it if you're a first-time player and you really want to understand how all of the systems work in the game. It may take a couple of minutes for it to like sink in what's happening. It's surprisingly in-depth, and I think playing this will get you to understand the game fully. Or just watching this video, honestly, might actually help too. Forest and Friends, we're going to encounter a village. That's the one we're going to play today. And then you've got Cursed Coast, which is a little bit of fighting. And you'll see over here on the right, it kind of tells you what each map does. And then a Hinterland Village, which is just another village in an island. And then what I think is great is you've got Customize a New Map. And here you can pretty much, you can do whatever you want. You can use a template, and you can see them here. You can customize it. So you can do basically any game you want with objectives and enemies, and then the size of the map. And then this can be done throughout. If you just click, you can see it changes some of them inside. I think this option under Customize New Map allows the replayability of this game endlessly. And I feel like you could play it a couple different ways to start and probably find a way that you like playing it and sort of set that up. And then challenge yourself or have a chill day and take it easy. For us, though, we're going to try Forest and Friends. My goal today is to give you a look at the game, how to get it going, and basically how fun the game is. So let's get started. I'm going to turn guidance off, and I'm going to hit Start Game. If it's your first time, leave the guidance on. All right, it's going to spawn us in here. We got a big boat. I've made a lot of jokes about this boat. If you look up here in the top left, there's 150 people on this small boat. I know it's a video game, but let's be clear. If there were 150 people living on that small boat, no thanks. That, and let's talk about the water surrounding the boat. All right, here we are, a land free of people. We've got some borders here. You can see these little border markers. An initial road, a flag. We're here. And so we want to start by building some basic building blocks, right? And that is, we want to harvest some forest, we want to find some stone and start harvesting that, and basically get the base materials in place to start, you know, a thriving metropolis. You can see that if you're playing objectives, there's always an objective over here on the right. And my note to the developer would be, can we move this, right? I have a problem. Maybe it's just me, but it's because of the menu here, the border kind of lines up. Now, if we come in here and take these, you can come in here and remove these. And I think if you removed a whole bunch of these, it would move this line up. Like, I think if we came in here and said, and you can see the things are moving up. See, if we removed a bunch of those, then it wouldn't hit and you'd have this nice line. I think this needs to move down a little bit. This is just something, this is my preference. You let me know if it bothers you, or I'm the only one. And while we're here, we can talk about this incredibly big menu up here. And I think it's daunting at first when you look at it. You're like, oh my God, what is all of this stuff? But trust me, like, it's fully customizable. You can sort what you want to look at and what you don't want to look at. So you can pull a bunch of them out. I mean, technically you could pull all of them out and look at nothing if you wanted to. And I think as you go along, you'll find important things that you want to track in here, and you'll leave them in, right? So the objective is telling us, hey, raise your standing with the factions on the island to friend status, or better, improve your standings. I'm not even sure we're going to get to that today. This is basically how do we start, but I wanted to play this one, so I'm going to play through whether we make it in this video or not. And then the rest of the layout, you've got a mini map in the bottom left here. You control the speed of the game right here above the mini map, and there is no pause in the game, so you can't hit the space bar. I think throughout this playthrough, I will spam the spacebar because I've played so many city builders that like to pause and stop and think is like part of my whole like being. As I've played the game more, it doesn't bother me as much that there is no pause. You can always hit escape if you need to pause the game and walk away from the game. So that's a plus. But I'm more of like a pause the game, think about where I'm going to put the next building. As the game sits now, that's not in the game. And then speed is not controlled by anything other than these buttons. There is no other keyboard shortcuts for this. And so you've got 1 and 5, 1 and 5. And to tell you the truth, I've been playing on just the normal speed, and it seems okay most of the time. As for the rest of the layout, roads, exploration and expansion, wood and stone, and so forth, these make sense for most everything. I think the funny one always gets me is that under mining, you've got hut, 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 works. Now I realize that the huts feed into the works, but I just think it's like that old Sesame Street song. One of these kids is doing its own thing, and it's the works. Processing and equipment and training, like it takes a little getting used to like where are the things. That's no different than any other game. Looking at the buildings and understanding them. The little numbers underneath them tell you how many you have built in the town, which is incredibly important and will be helpful later. So I think to get started, let's put down some wood cutting huts. And these are going to cut down wood. I'm not joking. I have been working, trying to get a better placement. And just to be clear at the start here, I'm going to try my best to make this look great and to flow well, and I'm going to probably fail. And as you will too in the beginning, it is easy just to get out of hand, and placement and movement I think are important, and I think there's something that like as you play the game more, you'll get better at. All right, let's place this wood cutting hut, and you can see it's highlighted where the trees are. And you can also see these rings. If you look at the top left corner, you can see that thick ring goes way out there. And so it's saying it's going to be able to cut trees all the way within this diameter of this huge circle. My other problem with the game is that I can get in real close. Look at how cute it is. There's a bunny. But this is the distance that I can get zoomed out. Now, as we play right now, it's an early access game, so maybe this will change. But I just think if the circle for this thing is off my viewable area, I should be able to scroll out to be able to see it. And I've, because the game is so fantastic, I've accepted it, and I hope that as the game develops, it will change. All right, so let's place this one here. And then let's take a road. And the roads are the best part of this game, hands down. I am for those who have watched my other videos, who've seen my live stream, I am a huge fan of building roads. I love road mechanics in games like this, and this is probably the best I've ever seen. So there's no, you can just click here and it'll take it right there. And this first road, you're going to be like, okay, Drax, whatever. But I'm telling you, when we start building some more complicated roads, it really shines. It really shines. All right, so there's the first road, and you see the ship was immediately like, okay, hey, let's dispatch some diggers. And if we hover on them, we can see they're diggers. They're going to come and they're going to dig this out. And as soon as they're done digging, then they're going to bring some constructors and so on and so forth. Collecting wood is the start of it. And you can see here we've got wood. And if you've got all the different woods that we can look at. And what we have is they've given us a pretty good amount to get started. So you've got a nice long start period where you could build a bunch of buildings before you really need to start thinking about harvesting. So, but we're going to start with the basics first. Wood cutting, and then we're going to do a sawmill, which is going to take that wood and change it into things we can use. And I'm going to do something crazy and put it directly across the street from it. And then we need to be able to find these areas out here. We need to be able to remove this fog and expand this border. And if we're going to do that, we're going to go to exploration. And two things are going to happen here. Guards can extend your territory using border stones. So we're going to build a guard tower, and then they're going to go and do the funniest thing you've ever seen, which is, I'll show you. And then we're also going to build explorers' huts. And these explorers will use rations to explore the unknown territory. So then they'll go out and push it even further. So these guys kind of work hand and hand, if you will. So we'll build a guard tower first, probably put it right here. It's going to be a better placement, Drax. It's going to look more beautiful. And then the explorer hut, I don't know. Let's just throw it up here. And then we'll connect these with roads as well. And you can, so here's a good example. I'm going to tell it I want it to go here, and it's just going to sort it out. The road mechanic is so brilliant. I don't need to think about it. It's just going to sort it out. There it is. And then for this one too, we're going to say, boom. And then the ship automatically starts sending people. Look at them. So orderly walking. I love it. All right, so we will be producing wood, and the sawmill will start producing the raw components. A forester is someone we're going to use to plant more trees, which we will do also. I'm going to hold on that for just a second. A quarry is what we're going to need. A quarry we'll need next, along with stonemasons, and then a stone mill, and what have you. Construction camps are key too, because they're the residents of construction units, and they can also be waiting there for a new task. This sort of, instead of having to come off the boat, they live on the city and speeds things up. It speeds things up. All right, look at them. The graphics in this game, absolutely fantastic. They're so detailed, and once the little workers get working, especially, I mean, look at this. Especially in the buildings, when this building gets running, we'll see all the little guys out front, guys and gals doing the hard labor. It's great. It's really cool. It's really cool. All right, so those two other buildings are running. We need to start thinking about food, and under food and products, we've got a forger's hut, a hunting lodge, vegetable farms, crop farms, and farmland, which we'll get into, some water, and then the windmill and the bakery are a little bit later. To start, we'll probably try to do a forager hut. And once you do this, you can see that it's beginning to highlight things in white. That means those are things that it can pick up. Now, we can't see this part of the map yet, but this looks like, if I had to guess, a bunch of mushrooms, maybe some berry bushes in there. Mostly just mushrooms. Mostly just mushrooms. So to get started, I think I'll build this forager hut, and they can go beyond the area to grab those. So, and remember, we can move all of this. We can destroy it and move it and rebuild it. So it's not like you're set in stone on any of this. I'm going to do this one here, and then we'll grab a little road and connect. Our food situation is not the best. We have 90 rations, and we don't have any other of the, I'm at the very top of the screen here. We don't have any meat or any plant material, so we kind of want to get that rolling. And the next one we'll do is a hunter's lodge, and you can see there's a lot of game. Holy crap. I'm going to put this up here. Yeah. I'm gonna, whoops, I clicked the wrong button. Let's put it right there, and then we'll run a nice road that goes like this. And they just keep dispatching more and more people out, which is fantastic. Which is fantastic. All right, and so what I was talking about, like you can see them working here. Look at them. And now they're bringing the resources off the boat and putting it here so that they can begin to make planks and such that we'll need for all the cool updated stuff we're going to make. All right, so we've got our first explorer's hut. And they're going to send, we've got 3 explorers with backpacks. And I think once they get the rations in, then they'll start wandering around and we'll start seeing this fog begin to be lifted. And then the guard tower too, as those guards come in and as we get in some border stones, which we should have a little bit of collection of border stones somewhere. We do. We have 150 already made from the boat. And so once they get those in, they'll start moving the border out and we'll watch that process hysterically. All right, so we've got food and we've got some wood being made. And our explorers are going to start exploring out here in the world. Should we throw in a couple of houses? Maybe to get people off the boat from hell? Let's take a look. Under population and meals, you'll see cottages and residents. And these cottages are not very big and there's 10 people that live in them. It's hilarious. 25 for the residents. And then under this also we've got provisioner, which makes food for the explorers and soldiers. We have a market fountain providing drinking water, and then market stalls, which are going to take food from areas and move them to taverns, and taverns have tavern tables where people sit. So I know that it seems really daunting, but just it is a really logical game, and just think logically. This is where you live. This is where we're going to store food and make food for moving of people far away from the place. Then you've got water where you drink, food where you collect, or markets where you collect food, taverns where you go to eat, and then tables where you sit. So it's pretty straightforward. And like the first time I played it, I was sort of like, can't get it in my head, but now it makes more sense. And I want you to like kind of look at it and think, oh yeah, that does make sense. That does make sense. Over here on the left, you're seeing some messages come up. It's seeing limestone was discovered. And if we click, it'll take us to where these discoveries are happening. And so our explorers are now beginning to wander about and find things. I have a note about this. This log is great and it's super helpful, especially as we begin to make more units, whether that be weapons or tools or producing backpacks or clothes. But there's no way to look back upon old messages. And I'm hoping as the game progresses, we'll be able to open the log and see messages that maybe you missed because you weren't paying attention, or you wanted to go back and say, wait, where was that? So that's something I hope develops. So keep an eye on that and click on them so you can take a look before they disappear. They're up there for a little bit. All right, here comes the best part of the game for me. One of the best parts. These guys' whole job, other than to guard us from bad combat, which we don't have combat on in this version, is to take the stone, pick it up, and then move it further out. What'd you do today, Bill? I picked up the stone. I moved it 2 yards. I built it again. And picked up the stone. Moved it 2 yards. Can you imagine? So you can see now that they're working and they're pushing the border out, which is good for us. So I think the next thing we'll do now is we'll say wood and stone, and we'll say quarry, and we'll come in and we'll lay our first quarry in here if we can. Maybe like, and this is another one where like if you look at the top right part of the screen, you can see a white band just on the very edge there, and that's how far this quarry can pull stone from. But remember, I'm as far back as I can be on the camera, so this is what I can see. So I know that we've got some stone right here in front of me, and I know there's some stone on the other side of the hill. So I'm gonna put it right here. And then we'll run a road. And then let's build the stonemaster. We'll take the stone and make cut stone and border stone, which we know we're gonna need. And I'm gonna squeeze that in, I think right here. And then that's gonna take care of our basic building blocks to continue to allow us to build. And as we move forward, things become a little bit more specialized, right? So this is, in my mind, a solid start, right? We've got the basic set Wood is happening here. We have explorers finding us more stuff. You can see the fog is lifting. The hunting lodge is getting us some meat. And if we look here, we can see meat. And our berries, they're pulling some mushrooms. And our border is expanding. And now we've got some stone being built. I think the only other thing I'd put down in the very beginning is maybe a forester so that the trees don't run out. And I've thought a lot about this. Like, these trees are like kind of right in the middle of town. I would say a good, something to think about is let them cut all these trees down and maybe put the forester like over here somewhere as you expand so that like there's more trees that are being produced farther away, and then you can use this land for houses and such. So I'm going to wait on the forester. We're going to let them cut down all these trees. And once they expand a little bit further out, maybe we put a forester like in here and have them just build trees in here and have them just cut down, cut down, cut down. Because one of the things you also can't do in this game is you can't get rid of this tree. Can't build things on the tree, which is kind of like, it's a little, it throws me a little bit. And you can see over here, an artifact was discovered. Copper was discovered. So they're exploring, they're finding. We'll wait on the forester for now. Let's go to population and let's build a couple of houses. Shall we? Shall we? Let's build a couple houses and a tavern. So I'm trying to think how I want this to be perfect. And I think maybe we do something like this. And you can see there's little red flags there saying, hey, I don't have a road, Drax. And now they turned white. Good. That's a good start on houses. We'll do more here in a minute. The white ring for the tavern is not, it's where it's servicing, it's where you can put tavern tables. So you can put tavern tables within inside this white ring. And on the tavern, I think we'll just connect it to this road here. And then let's do some fun tavern tables like on this side, like beachfront tavern tables maybe. They need a road to be able to work. So let's come in and do some of them here. Oh, whoops. Whoops, Drax. Yeah, just... And we'll do 6 to start. And remember, anywhere inside this ring. So you can kind of scatter these throughout. And I don't have the perfect... I always try to do something fun. Like, I always think, like, if I was going to eat the tavern, this is where I'd want to sit. The waves are kind of coming in. Oh, doesn't it seem so wonderful? In the top left now, you can see there's 127 people. Available rooms in residence 000. This is saying, listen, there's no available rooms because we haven't built any houses. And hopefully we can get this number as you progress to have some open rooms so that everyone can get off the boat. Get off the boat. A mysterious location with unknown purposes was discovered. An artifact was discovered. So you can see this log is rolling by. I'm definitely missing some of these because I'm paying attention to what's happening in front of me. I think it would be really cool if you could open the log when you needed to and check it out. And here's another fun part. We've got a traffic jam. The pathing in this game is good, but when you're doing something where you've got a whole bunch of things happening all at once, you're getting a lot of people off the boat and then you've kind of got them stuck. These people are stuck because there's too many people trying to deliver stuff to the tavern. So this will clear. And I think this is something you want to think about when playing this game. Like, how do you set the roads up? This is why I did the cottages this way with the road here, so that this road stays, the road behind it stays for moving of people. And also this road can stay sort of clear as another like movement of people. I would try to not have anything connect to your kind of your main road so that equipment can keep moving, right? Because technically they should turn and work over here instead of, if this was here, they would be working right here and then everything would stop. I hope that makes sense. All right, we got our first cottage. We got some people moving in. Perfect. And then what we need to do to feed the tavern is two things. We need to put down a market fountain, providing drinking water. And let's do that right here. And then we're going to put down a market stall, and that's going to deliver food. I just broke my first rule right there. The market stall is going to give us food for... it's going to collect food from all the places and then allow it to be delivered to the tavern. So let's not break my rule, shall we? Let's go ahead and say cancel construction. Let's take a road and let's move it. I'm trying to decide here. Maybe we do... If we get... Yeah, I think we can do that. And then let's do... Now let's do this. And then let's do something else that's fun. Somewhere in here. Under food and products, there's a well. Let's put a well in. Yeah. And you can see over here, there's a bunch of messages happening. A discovery, the border of the Pioneer village. All right, so we discovered the village we need to, like, deal with. Let's finish this and then we'll head over there and take a look. All right, I'm going to put a couple of food stalls in. All right, so we've got a market fountain. We've got a well and a couple of food stalls. And the food stalls will take 3 batches of food from around and then distribute. So this is very important. Your discovery of the border of the... All right, so we discovered the village border. And we can't... Oh, it's back here. We can see the little smokestacks. Can't quite see it yet. It's not far from us, though. Not far from us. All right, the houses are built here. The tavern's running. The tables are in. Just need some food to probably get delivered. Should we build another... I want to show you one of these residents, too, and just show you the difference in size. It's double the size, right? So these ones seat 10. It's 25. So right now we got 30 people living off the boat of 147. These are the 30th luckiest... Or 40, I'm sorry, 40 people. These are the 40th luckiest people on the planet right now. Not having to live on that boat. Can you imagine? Yeah, you can see the little traffic jam happening here as they bringing in more resources, waiting for the building to get enough to get starting to construct. And we could do something like, we could run another road, right? And try to alleviate some of this traffic. Sometimes this makes it worse. We could say, hey, and you can look at the beauty of here's the road stuff. Look at how great it is. Like, it'll just find the way. I don't think that's the right way of doing it. These trees are kind of messing us up. Maybe for the short term, this is not a bad idea. All right, they've almost built. And you can see, like, once the people clear, like, it's fine. Maybe you'll get some people that'll make the turn here, although it seems like it's longer, right? Well, hey, this carrier is going to make the new road. She's like, yeah, you know what? I'll do it. I'll go that way. All right, the residence is done now, and look, it instantly has 25 people. Perfect. They're cutting down the trees. Look at this. Now I think we could come up here and say, hey, let's build a forester up here. And then let's build this road. I don't know how. Let's see. It'll figure it out. I love it. I love it. And we'll get him planting some more trees, and when we're ready, we'll pick this woodcutter up and move him up there. And I forgot to tell you, there's this cool little focus point, and we can say, hey, focus on these trees right here. Let's get these knocked out and clear this entire area for more of the buildings that are coming. And we've got some people eating. And I think this is the perfect, look at them lined up for the food. This is the perfect place to stop. This is such a great game. There'll be another video coming where we'll explain more of the mid-game to end-game things that are happening. But I wanted to do a starter video that shows you how to get going from the boat to the food. The boat to the food. That's what we're going to call this video. The game is Pioneers of Pagonia. It's an excellent city builder that's in early access now. Please add it to your wish list if you're not into early access. If you are, go buy this game and play it. It's so much fun. Thanks for watching. and I'll see you next time. The video's over. Now it's time for you to do your part. Follow, like, and subscribe, and I'll see you next time.